If you go to Google and search trending topics in AI, you are going to get this. You are going to see regulation and ethics. In this video, we are going to understand ethical considerations in AI using some real world examples. Let's see that. So what we are going to do is we are going to take some examples and try to understand the ethical implications in AI through those examples. So if you see here, I am trying to fit a simple model here and I'm trying to create a data. I'm trying to create my independent features and dependent features. And I'm trying to break my test and train and fit a logistic regression model and print my result here. So this is nothing complicated, very simple. But if you see my data here, right, this is basically a hiring data, hiring decision, sample bias data set representing hiring decision. So this sample itself is biased. So if you see here, wherever gender hired is one, gender is male. Hired is one, gender is male. So what it means is only male candidates are getting hired. Female candidates are not getting hired. So in my data, the training will be biased. Okay. So if I have this data and I train a model and I expect it to be non-biased, that is a wrong expectation. That model will be biased model because in the data itself, all the hired people are male. You have to be mindful of these kind of bias in AI. This is not a ethical AI. And what you can do to overcome this situation? As I have written a one line here, review model accuracy by groups can reveal potential biases that require correction. So if you look for all the groups, in this case, male, female, then you will be able to understand where is the bias and you can take some corrections. For example, here I can add more data and I can get the things working in the right direction. This is one example of ethical considerations, ethical implementations in AI, implications in AI. And on this topic, right, I have created a detailed video on how to make AI fair. So if you see here, right, search on YouTube Unfold Data Science AI Fairness, you will get how to make AI fair. And if you watch this video, right, you will understand what I'm talking in this regard here, AI fairness, bias and fairness. But ethical consideration does not limit itself to only the AI fairness. It goes beyond that. Let's try to understand few more scenarios. Now let's look at this data here, privacy and data security concerns. For example, I'm using a Faker module. From Faker, you can create some data. Basically, I have a video on Faker as well if you want to see. And I'm creating name, SSN, and phone number of people. Okay. So I'm creating name, SSN, and phone number of some people. I'm creating some data. So SSN is a very sensitive data here. Okay. So SSN is basically like PAN card number in India or social security number is a very sensitive number in the US. How do you protect this number basically? How do you ensure that this number is not getting sold, this number is not getting utilized for some non-intended purpose, this number is not getting transferred to any environment where it should not go, not migrating from one platform to other without the knowledge of the data control, who is controlling the data, who is owning the data. So privacy and data security is a big concern here. What you can do is, one example here is anonymizing data. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm simply saying first 4 5 characters make that as XXS. So if that happens, right, SSN number will not be identifiable information and that can be used for different purposes. So anonymizing data is one example, anonymizing data, but you should also read about something known as differential privacy and there are more things to do in this area. So this is another example, another scenario where AI ethical consideration will come into picture. Just keep your eyes and ears open when you are working with data because I'm going to tell you more details on this in a moment, but these are not the topics that can be sidelined now. Hence, I'm covering this in a separate video. So two scenarios we saw, one is regarding privacy of data, other is regarding being model fair. Third is transparency and explainability of your model. Now, whatever is your model, right? What that model is doing, you should be ready to explain, you should be ready to transparently tell to someone. For example, here, what I'm doing is I'm trying to build a model, I'm trying to represent that in decision tree, if you see here. If I show this decision tree to somebody, right, that person will be able to understand that, okay, this model does this at this point, does this at this point, and so on and so forth. Fine. So this gives that person a confidence of model's internal behavior, a confidence in transparency of the model, a confidence in interpretation of the model. So this is another aspect of ethical consideration of AI. These are some of the things for which I could put some codes and I could show you what is happening. But there are more scenarios. Let me talk few of these through my PPT. So ethical AI considerations, right? There are more things which will come into picture. There is no proper code or something that I can show you for that. But again, whenever you are working on a solution, right? What is the job displacement and future of work? For example, if I build a robot and that robot takes over job of 1 million people, right? Then what happens to those 1 million people? What happens to their job, their life, their social security, etc., right? That is one area, job displacement, and what is the future of work. So again, you have to think from this perspective. Surveillance and privacy concern is another area. So everywhere people are putting surveillance system, people are capturing activities of employees, people walking on the street and whatnot, right? So till what level you are capturing, till what level you are making AI capture people's privacy, till what level you are doing the surveillance. That is another consideration in the world of ethical AI. What is the environmental impact of AI? For example, I was reading an article which was saying that the cost of training one large language model is equal to CO2 emission of 5 cars in their lifetime. Nobody talks about these things, right? But we should talk about these things. So we are building big large models, big models. We are using a lot of processing, lot of power, lot of electricity. So are we doing the societal impact in a negative way? What is the environmental impact of AI that we are doing? All these things, you may think that it is just on the paper, but no. As you can see my note here, to address these ethical issues, there are best practices and guidelines. Many organizations like the European Union and AI ethics committees suggest principles like transparency, fairness, the examples I was showing you, privacy protection, and regular audits to ensure ethical AI. So more and more laws, more and more controls, audits, regulations are going to come into this area. You and me, as working into this area, have to be cognizant of what is the meaning of ethical AI, what are the areas it impacts, am I unknowingly doing something which is non-ethical? Be cognizant of that, understand the things. So I have put one more slide. Some questions you should ask yourself. First of all, the data you are working on, who owns, shares, controls the data that you are using? Now there are various terminologies in the world of data, data controller, data owner, data protector. So you can just see where the data is moving. Is the subject knowing that my data is moving? Is it being sold for some advertisement? If yes, then you have to take the right action. Is there a human checkpoint in the system? So for example, we can't leave everything to the machine, right? So machine plus human are the best combination, not machine alone. So just see the result that your model is giving, the outputs that you are trusting on. Is there a human checkpoint there, right? Is the solution transparent and explainable? Whatever solution you are building, if some audit comes, somebody comes tomorrow and asks you to explain the solution, how well you can do that? Ask yourself. And how the AI capabilities benefits everyone together. So today we are into the world where one thing we learn and AI advances to the next level. One thing we learn, AI advances to the next level. All these things are happening, but AI capabilities should benefit everybody together. And that is the bottom line of ethical AI. Whatever you, me, or entire AI world does, it should not harm anyone in a negative way. It should benefit everybody together. So I am sure from my Python examples and from some of these bullet points, you have got a decent idea of what are the things to be considered, to be thought through, to be looked at in the world of ethical AI. And then you will keep your eyes and ears open on the job and learn more on these lines. Very soon you are going to get some exams to pass in your organization. Very soon you are going to get some tests to take. Then only you will get the next job in the ethical AI. With that, I want to close this and I'll see you all in the next video. If you give me a thumbs up, that tells me that I'm creating good content and it's a motivation for me. Please don't forget doing that. See you all wherever you are. Stay safe and take care.